There is aerolized insulin deposits throughout.
Volcanic eruption?
Yes.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Spencer's Butte has erupted?
Okay, so weapons of mass destruction. It's not really a full weapon of mass destruction. This is more of a mass casualty, mass patient affected type of scenario related stuff. Okay, so we need the door closed. Is that what we're doing? Oh, finally, somebody else. See, there's reasons why I close the doors around here. Okay, so you come across something like this. What does this look like to you guys?
Shooting.
They're like, hey, you're dispatched for somebody down on the sidewalk. You roll up. You're the first in medic unit, you and your partner.
Reverse.
How do you know it's not safe? What does this look like?
Looks like
How do you know what's going on?
Is that,
don't.
are you saying that we arrive and we see 4, 5, 6, 7 people around, one person down?
This is exactly what you see.
No other dispatch.
No, you were dispatched for a person down on the sidewalk. You roll up and this is what you see.
Right
Sweet.
now, it looks safe. Are you asking safety?
I just want to know what your guys' first ideas in your head are. Andrew, I see big old deer eyes over there. What you got? Did you just turn around and leave?
It looks like so I see blood on the sidewalk, so it looks like there was a trauma. So my first question is, what was the mechanism? And if I can't identify a mechanism, then I'm going to assume if there's a trauma and that much blood, that maybe there's a crime scene.
Okay, so anytime you have mass amounts of trauma, it's a big deal, right? Mass amounts of blood. So pretty big distance between where this blood's located and over
Where
here.
the patient is.
So let's say that this person's bleeding as well. Now what?
we got 2 patients.
Now you have 2 patients.
And then you have 2 more patients over here that are bleeding.
I do have enough resources.
So
to
now I'm
handle
wondering
this.
if the scene is safe.
Okay, so now things start to escalate, right? So now your thought process needs to be like, what in the world is going on?
What?
Right? Why are there multiple people down with lots of blood, right? People don't just get together and hang out and then just start bleeding, right? So there's something going on here that you have to try and figure out what's going on, right? So this is the Columbine shooting, okay? So this is one little snippet portion of it that now that you know that this is the Columbine shooting, now what are you thinking?
School students, mass hysteria.
Oh, it
It's
sucks.
police there.
Right? So, what do you think you're going to get in the dispatch information?
Shots fired, multiple patients.
Active shooter.
Yeah. So we had the interesting thing that happened over at Cascade Middle School here recently, right? Dispatcher came over the air and said, "This is not a drill. This is not a drill. We have shots fired at the school." We didn't know what kind of shots. We didn't know what was going on, right? What do you think everybody in the city does?
Freaks out.
Does everybody ramp up immediately? Right? Because this is a legit concern nowadays, right? So your whole thought process completely changes to somebody with a gunshot wound. Hey, we go on those all the time, right? But if you hear something like that, it's a completely different mindset that you go into because you go from treating one person to you have no idea what you're walking into, right? We did a little training with the cops up at the Lincoln Elementary School up on 28th and Lincoln. Just doing some little prep stuff. So we do this whole diamond technique thing with the cops now, where we go in, we've got cops, 2 cops, or 4 cops there, and then depending on what the situation is, then there's 3 of us, okay? So as we're getting ready to go in, like we're set up, and so we're saying that there's a wall. We're moving along a wall here, okay? So that's why they're able to. So if you're not moving along the wall, then you're diamond out like that, okay? So as we're getting to go, like they're passing out all these little like
That lets you
plastic
go
guns.
in when there is a shooter.
Yes.
Still
active shooter, okay? So this is something that on our department, what we have to do is like basically at the beginning of the day, as you're going on these, you'd be like, hey, okay, us 3, we're on the rig together, okay? If we have this, are you guys cool with going? Right?
Do you guys
Nope.
get vests or anything?
No.
What'd you say, Noah?
No vests.
You wouldn't know if we had
No vests.
vests, like open vests. Right? So if I have one person on my crew that says, no, we're not going, what's that, well, now what's that do?
Takes you out.
Right? I was like, all right, we'll go on another crew, I don't want you on my crew. I mean, that's in my mindset, but I mean, it'll be a slow, or a quick process to move you to another crew eventually, but, so yeah, so it's like, you have to have a full buy-in on your crew, because if you don't have all 3 people on your crew in, then you can't respond and you can't commit to the call. Okay, so you have to be fully think. So they're passing out all these little rubber guns, right?
Is this a daily conversation?
It is not, but it is a conversation that I have had with my crew prior to, because I have my same crew all together. When I put my crew together, like when I built my crew, that was one of the questions I asked. It's like, hey, so if we get called on a school shooting, are you cool with us going on the tactical team? Right? I got a bunch of young guys on my crew now, so they're just like, yeah, let's do it. I'm just like, cool, all right, we're in, all right? So now I know, I have no doubt that my crew's gonna be game for doing this. So we're getting ready to do this thing, right? And the cops are doing all their debriefing, and they got pops and sounds and stuff going on there at the school. And so they're passing out these little rubber guns and stuff to all the cops, and it's like, I look around, I'm like, I go, yep, and I shove one in my pocket, right? We're not supposed to have. I did, right? This is a big orange thing, right? So we go in and we're doing our thing, and so basically you walk through the door and there's like 10 people spread out screaming at you as soon as you walk into the gym, right? So there's a very systematic approach that we take to do these things. And then they're like, hey, we're gonna start spreading out. They start covering doors and stuff. I'd be like, so finally I was just like, of course, because I can't take anything serious, right? So I'm just like, come up to one of the doors and I'm like, hey, I got this, guys, I got this. And I pull out the gun, they're like, where did you get that? I'm just like, I don't know, I just brought it along. They're like, you can't have that. I'm like, so what if I do have it? They're like, we may actually shoot you. I'm just like, okay, you can have the gun. That idea, right? But it's that kind of thought process, like when we get in there, because it's like we have, for us in the pre-hospital setting, we don't have protection, we don't have guns, we don't have anything to protect ourselves. What do we have to protect ourselves? We have this little baggy thing here that's full of a bunch of wound packing and some trauma shears. Trauma shears, right?
Yeah.
We don't take the oxygen tank in with us. Basically, we take this giant like fanny pack, like the size of Noah's food container here, and that's what we have, right? We have the speed, and we have each other. And so that's why, once again, I built my crew. I got a bunch of big people that I can just stand with doing.
And wound packing.
Yeah, we got wound packing, tourniquets,
No
Just
airway
question.
stuff, that thing
OPAs.
can be
So.
damaged.
All right, so you have a completely different mindset walking into these types of things. So you got your, let's skip that one. Oh yeah, that's the initial World Trade Center, right? When they drove the big U-Haul full of explosives into the basement and blew it up.
Fertilizer and
Before most of these kids were born.
Before
I was just gonna say, a lot of these are before.
Oh, you don't heard about it. Put it down, old man.
Wait, what was that last one?
So I tried looking that one up, I think.
Oh, the anthrax.
I think it's the anthrax.
Don't
Never
Thing,
The anthrax.
So,
I just went.
okay, the Atlanta Olympic Games. Did you guys hear about this one?
Yeah.
Man, I was a junior in high school. Right?
I was
So,
too.
dude puts a little pipe bomb where everybody's gonna be gathering, right? And it goes off. How many patients they end up with?
I don't remember.
Don't know, 8 or 9, something like that? You roll into a possible explosion, you got 8 or 9 people on down.
But through that crowd?
You guys about to say has the crowd been controlled?
Let's-
How do I get from where I am now?
So, here's the question for you. Is a crowd gonna be gone
No.
when somebody calls 911?
No.
Or is everybody gonna be on top of everybody else?
Everybody will be on top.
Yep, I got somebody, all circuits are busy, you can't make a phone call, like, our circuits are busy on an
the
MBA.
Boston
In
bombing.
city.
Can you
I was
imagine
just gonna
that?
say, the Boston thing was, one of the next ones I was gonna talk about, so, it's that type of mentality and thought process, be like, okay, yeah, it's all fun and games, like what we had, our mass casualty person hit by the multiple cars here, but when you have all kinds of stuff going on, what were you guys focused on here?
Patience.
Patient.
Patience. What do these things focus on?
Crowd.
The environment, right? So you walk into something, how do you know there's not something else that's gonna go off?
Or is it
Does
structure
everybody
safe?
get super jumpy?
Yeah.
So like the Boston thing, right? They had the one near the finish line, right? And then they had the other one, other things start going off that had nothing to even do with these bombs, but they had loud noises. So what does everybody automatically think?
Runs.
More bombs.
They think there's more bombs going off, right? So as a first responder, where's everybody else running? That way. And where are you running? That way, right? So you're running against the tide. So you going into this has a different mentality. And so this is why we were saying, like, my crew's gotta be bought in on, hey, yes, we are going that direction when everybody else is going that direction, right? So we do the most good for the most number of people, right? When you have multiple patients, okay? Ah, the bombing, Oklahoma City, remember who did this?
Timothy McVeigh.
Right? You guys have all seen the picture of the firefighter holding the baby?
Yeah.
Made like front page of every single newspaper, and it's still one of the top things out there, right? So there's a daycare, the Oklahoma City bombing. So you roll in, you're the first in the ambulance, first in medical, they assign you to the medical branch, right? So you roll in and now you are handed 10 injured babies, kids. How you gonna manage that?
You gotta triage, find who's salvageable. Do
The
the most
question is, are
good.
you gonna keep your shit together up here, or are you gonna lose your mind?
Yeah. Seriously.
Fall back
Say
on
you're gonna
fall back
try
on the
and not
foundation
lose
you.
your mind.
Hopefully you had your brown pants
Hold
on.
on, hold on. Say this one more time, please. This is the most important thing I cannot stress, right here.
Fall back on the foundation you've built.
So when you run on situations, right, that is super uncomfortable, because we all go on super uncomfortable calls, right? You can mentally check out and go back to your training, right? You can separate yourself from the personal side of it and go with what you've been taught, right? After the fact, once it's all done and over with, maybe even in the middle of it, you may have a little moment where you're like, oh geez, I'm losing it here, right? This is not good. You immediately send yourself back into your training, right? You use that training as your crutch to help you get through it. After the fact, you may be like, you know what, I will never doing this ever again, I'm retiring, I'm out of this profession. But in that moment, when you are in those crappy situations, that is the time where you use the training that you have, and that's why you have to take it serious, because if you don't know what you're doing, can you rely on your training? Absolutely not, right? You have no idea what to do, you don't know how to fix anything. So you have nothing to grab onto to help you get through it. But if you're like, you know what, boom, okay, we're gonna start here with this person here. All right, we're gonna do our march mnemonic, boom, 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 okay, move on. Okay, now we got this person, boom, 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 boom. Do you think you're thinking about the first person you've already looked at, or have you already moved on to number 3, and number 4, and number 5? Okay, well, are we concerned with number 3 still? No, we're moving on, right? We're doing what we know that keeps us focused on what we're doing. Okay? Is that making sense? All right. We all know this one. Everybody knows this one, right? If anybody says no, you need to get in a different profession. Okay? You guys know how many?
Including firefighters.
Right, you probably can't even count those, right? Everybody that's down on the pile, dying of lung cancer now. Okay, so thousands and thousands. You guys, let's see, were you all alive in 2001?
I wasn't born yet.
In 2001? Yes. Okay.
I
Were
was
you old enough to watch TV?
No, she was a baby.
I was 2.
2, no, so you have no idea. All right, so those of you that were alive and able to watch TV, do you guys remember where you were when this happened?
Yep.
Yes.
Was it on TV in elementary school? Well, probably not elementary school.
Junior in high school.
I was in college.
Principal came into every class.
And I was a senior in high school.
I lived in Washington,
My parents could be one.
All right, so who responds to these events?
Everyone.
Who's everyone? We just talked about this with the shooting at the Cascade. Who shows up to those?
Fire, police.
Fire, police, basically anybody you can think of.
Public
Oh, this is
works.
gonna be nice and slow. Oh, there you go. Whew. Lots of people, lots of jurisdictions involved, right?
So we have FBI, ATF, and Secret Service that show up. Like
We have local, so we don't have Secret Service locally, but we do have an FBI and ATF here locally in town.
It's the big silver building.
Silver out of mouth.
Yeah, they have an office.
So, local police, who are we gonna get? You have,
Depends on
let's
where
say,
you're at.
let's say you have an explosion at Matthew Knight Arena on graduation night of the U of O.
You get UO security. That's gonna be good.
You're both security, you're gonna get
Oregon
EPD, you're
State.
gonna get Springfield, you're gonna get SWAT, you're gonna get bomb squad, you're gonna get,
Sheriffs and
You're gonna get OSP, you're gonna get LCSO, you're gonna get Cottage Grove, you're gonna get everybody in the general location, right? All mutual aid basically starts, and everybody's gonna start responding. What happens, what happens when that starts happening,
chaos.
right?
There has to be some
Who's
kind
in
of.
charge?
There has to be a unified
good
command of
question.
some sort, but
Yeah, so you have a
That's-
multi-jurisdictional issue going on where you gotta get somebody in charge and some sort of command system set up, because everybody needs to answer to somebody, right? Or else you end up with freelancing and randomness and you don't even know what's going on.
no, we sent people down to Umpqua.
Who's in
or to-
charge of that happen here?
So it's called a unified command, so, the fire chief will be involved, city managers will be involved, police chief will be involved, lead FBI person, if it's a bomb thing, bomb squad techs, if there's hazardous materials, and there's a hazmat command person. So all of these people will go into a giant room, and then they'll all sit there, and they'll all basically have a big round table. It's called the EOC, Emergency Operations Center, and then they will basically run it from that room, with contact and communication, and basically, so your whole, like, command system, you'll have one generalized IC, and then we'll start having, so what's the span of control normally?
3 to 5.
Okay. And then how many there? How many more here?
5.
Five. Then how many more here? So you're five. So basically, you're gonna end up with one general person that, basically they'll agree that this is, okay, you're gonna be in charge. So let's say we give the city manager overall, which he or she would never be the IC, but we'll just use that as an example. It's either gonna be the police or the fire will be the main person, because they are the emergency response experts, okay? So we'll just say it's the city manager, so then you would have police chief, fire chief, FBI, public works, and whoever else, right? And then you just start breaking it down, and breaking it down, and breaking it down, and where do you think you fall?
On the bottom.
Bottom.
Way down here, right? The branch of the branch of the branch of the branch of the branch, okay? So eventually, you're all gonna end up down there, all right? So, do you think that makes it hard? Do you think that there's a battle in that room on how things are gonna get done?
Yep.
And
Or
priorities.
does everybody agree how things need to be done?
You would hope that everyone's had similar training to be on the same page, but
Right, so have you guys heard of all the ICS classes? ICS 100, 200, 300, all the way up to 700?
We have to take it.
Oh, you guys had to take a bunch of them? Right. They do that for a reason. They're awful, but they do it for a reason, right? They do it for this exact type of thing, okay? So that everybody has a general idea how things are supposed to run, how the command system runs, and then, okay, if we designate you in charge, you will make the ultimate decision when it's all said and done. Yeah.
So when I took a tactics and strategies class, one of the things that was brought out is depending on the incident, usually that discipline will be the IC. So if it's a fire incident, we usually have a fire captain as the overall IC, obviously with input from everybody else. If it's a police incident, it would be a police IC.
Until the
and so on
police
and so
chief.
forth. Is that still kind of a?
Absolutely, yeah, and so that's why I said, like, whoever, like it would never be a city manager, that would be, I was just using that as an example, because there has to be somebody that has the overall idea, training, thought process to dealing with this. But when you have a giant explosion, now you got police, you got fire, you got the FBI, explosions, ATF, so you have everybody now that thinks it's their jurisdiction, it's their thing, right? Because, bomb squad, right? So like, that's where that, hey, who's taking charge of this, right? Most of the time, it's gonna start off as a fire chief, probably, and then work its way back once everybody's kind of secure and safe, then it starts transitioning over to like the FBI, because now the investigation portion is taking place, bomb squad, because now they gotta make sure there's no secondary devices, that kind of thing.
Bomb squad, it seems like bomb squad would be more of a division or a different branch, just simply for the fact.
Right, so that's,
they
your
have
police chief would
discipline they
then,
need
police
to
chief would then
put
take
on
the,
police.
yes, police chief would take the next position, and then they would be under the police chief portion of it, yeah, so.
So, I don't know about the municipality here, but don't they do plan for like specific scenarios, like places they know are high risk, like Matthew Knight Arena or
Yes,
Ducks.
yes.
They already know who the IC is gonna be in specific, because they've already written
Yes.
out their playbook.
Well, they have a general idea,
Right.
depending on the situations that they have created.
Right.
Yes.
And it can change depending on what the situation at that location is, but they've already had the spot exercise and things written out though.
Yes, yes, so, we put on a lot of IC classes here locally, right? And what's the most common one that almost everybody grabs onto? Where do we
School
put, where do
shootings.
we put the most amount of people for the shortest period of time? Autzen Stadium, right? So that's the go-to throwdown, hey, we're gonna have a mass casualty, explosion, airplane comes in, crashes into game day, right? And so that's the throwdown, right? So it's funny getting to do these IC classes with them, because you have outside agencies coming in, Portland Fire, Tualatin Fire, like, and then they throw us into those mixes. And Portland Fire wants to do all this setting up, hey, we're gonna set up way over here, do this and that, and we're like, no, we're not doing that at all. We're just gonna use I-105, we're shutting it down in both directions, this is gonna be our staging location, we have access here and here, and they're just like, well, why would you do that? We're like, well, because if we have this major event, traffic's gonna be shut down here, all of our staging apparatus, this is the only clean, straight in, straight out kind of location. And so having the specialized pre-planning of knowing your area and your department operations and stuff totally puts you a step up on everybody else. And that's why we do those types of pre-planning and stuff like that.
How frequently do you do those training events?
So the higher ranking officials, they do those biannually, twice a year. But anytime that we put on a new class, which is a couple times a year, we're always constantly running through those kinds of simulations. Every other year, we do officer development, chief development stuff, so within our department, we are always coming up with big scenarios like that. We do the same kind of thing, airport, out at the
Yes.
airport, we do the big
Every year,
airport
every 2
years,
Yeah.
or actually, I think it's every 3 years.
Yeah.
Airport comes down, or airplane comes down, crashes, there's bodies everywhere, or some sort of hijacking where there's a bomb on a plane. So there's always something, some big scale event that goes on throughout the city. And so that's where you get that multi-jurisdictional stuff going for that, so. All right, you got your USAR team, hazmat teams, you got all those playing a part. We don't really care about that. Go on a call with the post mail delivery van. Mail delivery van runs into another car. There's mail everywhere. What do you do?
You gotta call,
Is this a big deal?
yes.
Why is it a big deal?
Personal information.
Can you
Federal
can you
offense.
help clean up mail?
No.
It's a federal offense, right? So it's a big deal when these mail delivery person, and they know it's a big deal because like, I mean, when they're conscious, they're like, no, I'm not going. Like they could have like a dangling leg, and they're just like, I'm not going. This is my thing. I can't. I'm accountable for everything there. And we're like, we get that. We know all the rules. We know all the regulations. We got our whole 2-3 people thing. Okay, we got witnesses. Nothing's being touched, right? And that's exactly it. You get the post office involved. Get them to get their people to come take care of all that stuff, right? Because it is a federal offense for us to mess with the mail.
Or a
Right?
fire at a post office.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not supposed to touch the mail, right? So if we have a fire inside one of the, like a UPS or anything like that, basically we put a big hole in the top of it, fill it up with water, and we do not open the door. The door remains shut until post office people are there to open it. So basically we just smolder it out, let it smolder for a little bit, hope it goes out, and then once they're there, we'll open it up and go from there. This is the real deal. The mail, you don't mess with the mail.
You can't go in and put a fire out if it's in the post office.
We can go in and do it, but we're saying in a mobile device,
Oh, okay.
a mobile vehicle,
Okay.
right? No, but we've gone, so that was the interesting thing, like, so over there off Tie-In, so like, it's probably 8th and Tie-In, the post office over there, we've gone in there for fire alarms, right? And we're like, and we're like, all right, buddy system, everybody has their buddy, okay, we gotta stay connected at all times as we go in, and like going through the building, like, because that's what they said before we even went in. They were just like, hey, you guys have to stay together. This is where the panel is. This is where things are located, and then you go.
Kind of as a witness thing? Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah.
it is?
You need to have somebody else there, right?
Pat you down for mail at the end of it all?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, all right. Terrorism. What do we think of when we think of terrorism?
White
White
fans.
Wow.
Okay, let's not stereotype people, but let's get into what types of
No, that's just
incidents.
facts, but-
Bomb.
Incidents.
Bombing?
Mass casualties.
Mass
Mass
public casualties.
Most damage.
All right, so what are they trying to accomplish with the terrorists?
Mass damage,
Mass control, like,
inciting.
So anytime you have danger to human life, anytime you're trying to affect infrastructure, influence the government, or civilian population, mess with the civilian population, that is what they consider. What's that?
To intimidate, the purpose is to intimidate.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. To affect, to scare, to intimidate, anything like that, right?
you saying all 4 of those?
Video.
Any of them.
Any of them? Activities that involve danger to human life? I was-
In regards to a
For the
organized.
express purpose.
Or an
Organized
organization
event.
trying,
Yep,
okay.
an organization, organizational event
Yeah.
that's making the attempt to do that. Okay? All right, high index of suspicion, we've talked about that, right? Situational awareness as we go into calls. We're looking for everything. Are we very good at that? Are we getting better?
Yes,
We are decent at it. Were we horrible 5 years ago?
yes.
10 years ago? Right? We are getting better as the time goes. So what do you do when you walk into a call? Andrew, come here. Come here.
I'm gonna walk into a call.
You're gonna walk into a call.
Paragon, Andrew. He's walking like a paragon.
All right. So I need one person.
Use this.
Whoa. Holy cow. Okay, Amanda.
Oh, warrior bitch, here you come.
Yeah, her lungs are out too.
Actually,
He's listening.
actually, Chandler, put your hood back up.
He
Okay.
actually did scare me.
I'm gonna say-
Okay. All right.
I'm frightened of you.
Okay, Andrew, you're coming into a call. Okay? You're coming into a classroom. For Sarah, it's history.
Yeah. All right, partner.
All right, come on in.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Dude, just. Andrew,
Yeah.
get out here.
What's up? What's up?
Do it the right way. How do you walk in?
Oh,
How do you walk into a scene?
Like a
fire
paragon.
department.
No. We're trying to make it to the patient.
Yeah.
Let's go, Trees.
Yes.
Sarah is having chest pain.
Hi, Sarah, with chest pain. What can I do for you? How's that been? How long's that been going on?
Like 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay, what were you doing? What am I gonna do?
What do you need me to do?
Can you go ahead and grab vitals for
Oh,
me?
sure.
Great. What is the other shoe gonna drop? Ah,
Hey, why don't you just step outside for a second?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Happy to.
Hustle. Let's go.
Never run.
Never run on scene. Stand right here. Don't want to see you. Andrew! Take care of Sarah. Let's
Fire
go.
department.
Yeah.
Hey, what's her name?
My name's Sarah.
Hey, I'm Andrew. What's going on?
I have chest pain.
Okay. How long's that been going on? Hey, can you grab that?
Oh, you want me to get some vitals?
Couple of
great.
hours.
Okay.
Couple of hours?
Yeah.
Okay, what were you doing when it started?
I lift really heavy weights at my powerlifting gym,
Nice.
and ever since then it's been really hurting.
Okay, does it hurt more when you breathe in?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, it
Do you know
does.
these people? Hey, sketchy guy. Hey, we're just checking out Sarah over here. Can you guys just give us a little room?
Oh, it hurts so bad.
Sarah, are you okay, Sarah?
Oh, no. I'm not.
Means of egress.
I feel like I'm stuck. You had me over here doing this. I didn't know what to do.
Sweep the legs.
Okay, let's see. So, what did Andrew do? Back himself into a corner.
Put his partner in a corner too.
Oh, yeah, you really screwed me. Thanks, buddy. You are not in my special 3 over here. You're out.
You're still just trying to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so what else happened? So like, we go into calls all the time, right? And so so that's why I tried to get Andrew, because obviously he comes in with a high index of suspicion. He's like, hey, what is going on, right? That's not what we do a lot of the time, right? What do? We see somebody, they're like, oh, somebody's not short of breath. And so what do we immediately do?
Walk.
Right? So for me, this has been a little bit of a transition, because that's what I used to do. I was like, I was a paramedic. But now what am I? Now I'm the officer, right?
Big
So now what's
picture.
my responsibility?
Big picture.
Big picture.
Right? Every door I walk by, I'm taking a peek in, knocking, pounding. I want to know how many people are in the house, right?
Every call.
Every single call, because I don't want Melanie sneaking up. She could have came up and gave you a big bear hug.
That would have been funny to watch.
That would have been very funny, right? But so you always want to have a head count. You want to know what situation you're in, and you always want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in the corner, right? So anytime like you want to know where the door is, where the exit point is, kind of not. You don't want anybody being able to sneak up behind you, and so you just want to make sure you have that awareness, right? Did you see anything else when you walked in, without even looking around now? Did you see anything else when you walked in?
No,
No.
I saw it.
You didn't see the person with the gun.
That I cared for.
Did you see the person with the gun?
No, I did not.
What about the knife? No knife either?
No, I did not see the knife.
Yeah, that's too bad. So, okay, Andrew, it was nice knowing you.
So I'm doing what I love.
You effort, attitude, maybe, a little craftsmanship in it. I mean, hey. All right. So situational awareness, right? We walk into the scenes. We gotta know what's going on all the time around us.
And how are we gonna get out?
Yeah.
In and out, right? How do you guys approach a door?
You knock from the side,
Oh, so like
like a cop.
oh man, have anybody seen Wind River?
Oh, yeah.
How do you have time to watch movies right now?
I think my allotted breaks that I was required to really start looking at this program class.
So
Take 15-minute increments.
what is this, Andrew? Like, how do you approach this door, right?
Do you want me to show you?
No, I just want you to tell me. I don't need you to act anymore.
You do not stand right in front of it, you stand off to the side, and you knock.
Over here?
No,
No.
uh,
The other-
This side.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Then what?
Knock on the door with the back of your hand. Yeah. Say, super loud, say fire department.
Fire department.
department! I'm here to help you! I'm a big, mean, strong person! Be scared of me! You have a gun! Right? And give a nice pound, knock, because are most people right behind the door?
No.
Or are they back in their house somewhere? Right? Yeah, so they're somewhere in there. Pound on it, and then what's the next thing you do? Check the handle. Right? Check the handle, see if the door's unlocked. Do we open the door?
No.
Not yet. Okay, you give it a second, give another pound. Okay, call out from outside. Fire department. Fire department, if you're Andrew. Right, so you're calling out, right? And then, only after you tried it a couple times and there's no response, tried the doorbell, tried that a couple times, do we open it now?
You yell and let them know you're coming in.
So what I do is I take a peek in the window real quick. Okay, I look in the windows, try and see if I can see anything before I go barging in, right? Then I'll crack the door, and then I'll announce it again. Hey, fire department, we're coming in, fire department. And I'll do a big wide throw open like that, because a lot of times people will, with immediate movement, that's when they take some sort of action, if they are gonna shoot or do anything like that, right? You do that thing, give it a little second, catch the door again, take a little quick peek, but it's only like a quick peek, right? You just take a quick look in, and then pull back out. Make another announcement, and be like, okay, hey, this is what, because what did I just do with my peek?
Put your face in the way.
What did I do when I looked, though?
Look for danger.
check if there's somebody there.
And what am I looking at?
Assessing the scene.
Yeah, so you're looking for the layout of the house, right? So you have a general idea of which direction, if somebody's gonna come from somewhere now, now I have a general idea of which direction they could potentially be coming from, right? And there's nobody sitting on the couch right in front of the living room. And so then, yep, it's like, hey, and when you throw it open, so usually you have part of your crew that's kind of back right over here, they can kind of take the glance in at the same time, and then you kind of slowly move in. And now I'm seeing every two, 3 steps, fire department, and if you don't hear something, and you know that 911 was called, it's not just like a medical alarm or something like that, this is where you're just like, all right, are we in the right house? Are we in the right spot? Right? You guys have heard about the medical alarms where crews have been crawling through the window and have gotten shot. You guys heard about those?
Yeah.
Yeah, so medical alarms. Yeah, people go on a medical alarm, middle of the night, they're calling in through somebody's window. Wrong house, and they get shot with a shotgun. Not good, right?
What are protocols for when shots are fired?
Run for your life.
Okay.
Step one,
Yeah.
turn
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, I mean, so,
You hear them over
Scene
there,
safety.
you run that way.
scene safety,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, scene safety. Yeah, run.
But I mean, we train on like what to do for that not to happen, but is there training on what to do when it does happen?
Yeah, so it's basically the same kind of thing as an abandoned building. Boom, everybody's out,
Right.
right? Try at all costs to keep your crew together, accountability, right? But like if like, the way we have it is like, we're all in. Like, so say, for example, if somebody pulls a gun and we are from here to Mark, we have an all-in approach on that.
Everyone
What do you
rushes
think I say when I say all in?
Everyone goes, they can only.
Everybody goes for Mark,
Mm.
okay? If we're close like this, this is where you have to have the communication with your crew beforehand, but it's the all in, right? So, am I gonna get very far if he pulls a gun? Running away.
No.
Yeah, backfire.
Am I gonna have a better chance of surviving if we all jump on him at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Because what's gonna happen to his vision as he's trying to pull the trigger?
He's stuck.
So he's got multiple people coming at him, right?
They probably tunnel onto you.
Right? And so, hopefully. So the idea is it's an all-in approach. You have to have buy-in from your crew. You have to have buy-in from the people that you work with, that's gonna be the case, right? We have equipment, so the idea is equipment goes first towards the person, right? So that's why like the life pack, the new X series, lightweight, but you could, I mean, that's like a good bowling ball, right? But it's a good thing. You throw it right in their vision, right at their face, right? Because then what's that do? Like I could throw that and be on Mark
Yeah.
probably before he could get, I mean, Mark's probably a good shot, but it's that kind of thought process, okay? So these are things that you're gonna have to talk with your crew and work through. It may be like, you have an officer be like, all right, we see a gun, we'll run for our lives.
Mhm.
It's like, all right, well, okay. All right?
So what would you do if you had a person and they had like a gun on their hip and they like have their hand right here and you're like, I don't know.
So,
Everyone in college
that's good. So, a lot of it has to depend on like the situation, right? So you gotta paint a little bit better picture than, hey, guy with a gun on the hip.
It's just
I was about to say, this sounds like some Western movie, is it
Guy
about
with a gun
to?
on his hip is not the guy with a gun.
Yeah.
So have we got, I've had some pretty good ones where Granny's sitting in the recliner. She's got a .45 stuffed right in the recliner chair. And like, you're just, so how do we approach Granny as she's like 90 years old sitting in the chair? How do we approach her? What do we do?
Extra loud, hey, fire department.
Oh, and we get right up in there, right? And you're doing vitals and stuff, and all of a sudden you look down and you're
Okay,
like,
Mrs.
"Whoa." I said, what do we do when we see a gun?
I would attempt to get it out.
So like, does everything just instantly stop and be like,
No.
hey,
Yeah.
there's a gun right here, I don't know what to do with it. Right? Is that the best thing to do?
No.
No.
That's what happens.
Do we pretend like we don't see it?
No.
No.
Temporarily, yes.
Yes.
Because if we draw attention to it and she's actually there to hurt us, then now she knows that we know that it's there,
Oh.
and now she has the potential to make the move for it, right? But are we preparing to say, hey, I'm gonna check your pulse here real quick, right? And what am I doing when I'm checking the pulse?
Securing your arm.
Okay, we got that hand, you got that hand. Okay, hey, you wanna check the pulse on that side? Right? Yep, okay, good. Okay, let me just reach down here. grab it, slide it out of the way, slide it and be like, okay. Nope, I think we're good. I think we're clean now, right? And so, so if you are put in those kinds of situations where it's like, you don't know whether or not it's there for harm, whether or not it's there for self-defense, what the idea is, are you there on a suicidal subject? Like, you don't know, right? And so you try and control the scene, you try and control the situation to the best of your abilities, right? So person with a gun on their hip isn't a big concern as long as like what the situation is, right? The rain. This is if we have some sort of event type of thing, right? Recognize, avoid, isolate, and notify. Okay? Recognize the hazard or threat. We recognize that Granny has a gun. All right? Avoid the hazard. Okay?
Granny has a gun.
Arms up. We're not letting Granny get the gun, right? Isolate the hazard. We remove it. Notify the appropriate resources. Hey, crew member, captain, somebody, here's his gun. Okay? We're going to take Granny over here. Right? So now let's think of, you have, let's see, what kind of emergency do you want? How about you see white powder on the table. You have 4 unconscious, unresponsive people.
With white powder on the table?
White powder all over the table.
I go back to my training and think of
Get out.
Kris that told me about fentanyl in a powder.
Fentanyl, carfentanil?
Yeah.
You're
Ah.
already in there, removing the patients in yourself without disturbing.
Okay, so what are we doing? So what are we doing with this stuff?
Recognize the hazard.
Recognize that there's
Something-
stuff there, and what are we doing when we're recognizing the stuff? What are we also recognizing?
Is
The
it
4
haz-
people are down because of, or possibly because of the stuff.
The potential, right? The potential that this stuff that we recognize is potentially causing this thing, right? Avoid the hazard. Do a belly flop right into it. Yeah?
Do an Al Pacino?
Do a little taste test, double check,
Just baking soda.
Smell it.
rub it on the gums, that kind of thing, no? Okay, so we avoid it, obviously. What kind of things do we not want to do?
Cause it to dust.
Hey, we got our gurney all set up here, let's get our blanket set up for you. Right? Whole crew's down, right? So we're gonna avoid any sort of moving of that stuff. Okay, what are we gonna do to isolate it?
Get them out of the system, out of the area.
Shut the wedge underneath the door, you don't want anybody going back in, right?
Oh, I thought you just locked yourself in there.
You're in the fentanyl now. Just you and the fentanyl. Party time! For like 2 seconds. Okay? And then, so say you guys go on a medical call, it's just you and your partner, you roll into that, and let's just say there's one person down, so you don't have to call a whole bunch of extra stuff like that. Who do you call now? What do you
You're
do?
saying that you see white powder,
White powder.
and somebody down.
And somebody's down, yeah. Okay?
PD.
Hazmat, PD, because is that probably some sort of illegal thing? Who's gonna go through the door first, the cops or hazmat?
Cops will probably take their ego through the door first.
Cops, exactly, because who's gonna be there first?
Cops.
So what is your job to do?
Stop them.
Stop them.
What do we do? What do we do with I?
What do we do with what?
What do we do with I?
Isolate.
Oh, I.
Right? We close the door. Why are we closing the door? To keep
Isolate.
other people from going in, right? So that's why we gotta keep, so can we just pick this person up and go?
No.
But dude, they're like dead. They're like not breathing.
Hold
They're
your breath.
cyanotic.
You and your crew first.
Well, let's say we did an awesome job of grabbing on and we're just dragging them. We drug them out the door, and we could go to the hospital.
You've got to find someone to isolate.
Decon.
Could be on the clothes,
Right.
right? So are you gonna just, so here's the question. Okay. Josh, you're up. Lucky you. Come on, buddy. It's me and you.
Would you, so in that case, would you consider if you were on the truck and you had your SCBA with you?
Good luck, dude. What am I doing? Stand outside. I'm
Don't-
isolating you. Okay, Noah. Have a seat right there for me on the ground.
Am I unconscious?
Yeah.
We've got some
Oh, there you
salt.
go.
Oh,
I don't know if you can do something with it.
Ooh, is that stuff you picked up from our choice?
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Protein
Should
powder.
have done it, just do it.
Protein powder.
How many calories is it?
Yeah, he needs all the
You
calories
can tell a
he
little
can
on
get.
it, okay.
Here we go. Just give me a little in the bag.
What else is in that bag?
I don't know.
It's just
Crystals?
cocoa and
He thought he said cooking.
All right, good. Yeah, we put your head facing the other direction.
What are the big chunky things?
it's cocoa and
Oh.
protein powder. It just needs to be mixed together. It's what is it? Caramelized Coke.
Check out.
Fire department. We just talked about how to knock on a door.
She just opened. He
Close
just,
the door and go.
Lower the base.
hello.
Hello, everyone. What's going on?
So, dude, we just, oh, hey, that guy was sick, man. Whoa, he's super sick.
Okay. Did anyone see what happened?
Oh,
No.
Nobody's here.
No.
None of these people are here, dude.
Okay. Where are we?
We're in a house.
We're in a house?
Yeah, this is just a house.
Do you guys think you could go outside?
These
Give
guys
us a
aren't
little bit of
here.
room?
Ignore them. It's just the three of us. We're having a
It's
special moment.
It's just the three of them. Hello? Sir? Hello? Can you hear me? Is there? Oh.